Pretty much finished with the first half. This is already setting up pretty good. It's like pretty hard. Yeah, it really started to take off. Now see, what I did was I built up these edges, because that's where the clay is, right in these edges here. Let me get my glasses out of my mouth. Now, the first coat I put in was what captured all the detail. The second coat was burlap. The third coat was to push to put more plaster over top of the burlap and build up these edges all the way around. I had to build them up nice and thick. See how that's thick there? I tapered it right into the edge. Well, now the reason why is because in about a half hour to an hour, because I'm going to make sure this is pretty hard before I take the clay off. Now I'll take all this clay that's around this thing off, and I'll grind down these edges, and then I flip the mask over, and you don't take the sculpture out of the plaster. You do not do that yet. You have to flip this over, let this sit on the styrofoam bedding that I've made. All right, and then you do the back half after the clay is removed, and you already have, the locks, the key locks are in here, so it all line up real nice. And then when you're finally done, you've got a mold, and that's what you pour your latex into when the mold is complete. So I built it up nice. You can't even see the nose. The nose is right about here, and it's just nice. It's nice, smooth work here. This, believe it or not, is an art in itself. Getting this real smooth. You don't want any jagged edges on here, because you're going to be handling this with your hands most times. This is still warm. I can still feel it's curing. This has got to be completely cold before I can remove or flip it up and then remove the clay, because I want to make sure this is good and hard all the way through this. And then I'll have a really nice the first half will be done. That was the face part. The face is done, and the other half is actually easy. That's just the back of the head. There's no details to that, but I will, because the clay's been sitting on this styrofoam, I'm going to check for little dents or whatever. When I pull this up, I'll make sure that there's no dents or scratches or anything, and I'll smooth it out again, and then I'll do the second half tomorrow. The second half gets done tomorrow. Need daylight for that, and it gets too cold, and the plaster does not want to set up. It won't set up in this extreme cold air. I mean, it's not really cold, but once you get down into the 50s, 40s, and the night air starts to get damp, so this stuff will never cure in a damp air. Right now it's curing because I put hot water in here, but I'm not going to take that chance again tonight. I'm gonna call it a night. I have about an hour, maybe 2 hours. I might just wait 2 hours. I want to make sure this is really hard. Then I'll take the clay. I sprayed. Now this is wet clay. This is a water-based clay. So what I did was I took my spray bottle and I spray bottled all the clay so it doesn't dry out while I'm waiting for this to cure. So with that being said, the mold part's just about done. The worst part of it, the hardest part, is doing the clay barrier and then doing the face. The back half is easy, because all I'm going to do to create a release, once this is done, these are register keys. These are keys where you stick your screwdriver in there and you separate them. Once you have the mold grinded down flat and even all the way around, you'll see that process too. But those worms stay in this mold even when I do the back half, because that is the hole that you put your screwdriver in to separate the mold. There's several of them. They're all around this thing. I got one right there, one over here, one there. There's a bunch of them. and you have to have them in order to be able to separate the mold, you know, once they're both once both sides are done. So that's the secret of making a mask in a mold. You can see this is a very messy process. I got stuff all over the ground here. I got it all over me. But you guys have a great weekend. Tomorrow I will do the back half, and then tomorrow night I'll be working over at the inlet. So if you guys are, you know, local, I'll be in North Wildwood tomorrow on Spruce and Old New Jersey Avenue, and I'll be playing a lot of old school, disco, funk, you name it. It'll be there. I'll be playing it. Might even do some rock. I'm really tired. I've been at it since 6:30 this morning. I am done. I got everything finished. I finished up the sculpt. I finished up the first half of the mold. And the first half is always the hardest half because you have to put the clay barrier around the entire first half of the mold. And you'll see how that looks tomorrow. Man, I got a mess to clean up out here. Oh boy. Yeah, that's what it is when you're making molds. So have a great night and a great weekend. Hope to see you. Peace.